Alright guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from my good friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, thank you once again for this Patreon request. And this time around he asked me what I would do with a... what would I do with a Green Lantern Blackest Night animated film? So yeah. So I'm going to give my thoughts on it, where I could put it, and things like that. But before we go any further, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. You guys can hit the 4th tier, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. Also, I have a dog. Jasper. That's Jasper. No, he's not mine. He is my sister's. We're just watching him for a couple days.
Isn't that right, boy? Isn't that right, big boy? Oh, you're so chunky. Oh.
So if you hear any sounds or see anything, that's just that's old Jaspy over here. Anyway, so getting back on track. So with Green Lantern Blackest Night, it's one of those DC events that is like, yeah, when is that going to get an animated film? The thing is that the problem is that with DC animated films is that if it's not Superman and Batman, it's not going to sell well. It's not going to make exactly buku numbers. However, there has been an influx of, you know, this new era of Superman, not Superman, DC animated films that are all interconnected like the New 52 was. So far, they have gone from Superman, Man of Tomorrow, all the way up to Legion of Superheroes. And, yeah, this series also had its Green Lantern film, Beware My Power, which I watched and was like, this is not good. And that's the thing, is that there aren't a lot of good Green Lantern animated films. Like, the first one, Beware My Power, that's not... I watched all of them and were like, all of them, Emerald Knights is okay, but even then, it's like an anthology show. So I don't know if I can count that. But the one thing is, like, when is Blackest Night gonna get an animated adaptation? It's one of those major story arcs that hasn't been adapted yet. And again, it's probably because Green Lantern isn't that marketable unless it has an S or a bat on it, or, you know, gold bracelets. Good chances you're not going to go far in terms of animated movie. But we'll see. Now, for this film, for Blackest Night, it's a big event. And the thing of it is that I don't know if you could stick it in this continuity. I don't think sticking it in this continuity would be a good idea, because not a lot of characters have died. Like, we haven't had major deaths of, oh my god, that character is gone. Well, we did have, spoilers, for Green Lantern Beware My Power, we did have Hal Jordan die when he was possessed by Parallax. But really, we haven't really had, like, a big body count for characters. We haven't had, like, a major series of body counts for anything in here. So I think this would benefit better if it was not in that continuity. I feel like it would benefit more if it was in like its own continuity. Like, I think it would be better off if it had, like, it was a standalone film that wasn't connected to any canon, any of these movies canon, and just kind of do something like that. Like, that's how I really see it, is that just kind of do that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah. As for, like, voice roles and whatnot, let's have a little fun, because there's not really much I can say about this one. There's, other than, yeah, would I like it? Sure. But, yeah, there's not much else I can say about it. I'd like to see it happen. As for what you could rate this movie, you definitely go the horror route and do R. I think it is possible to do a black, because they're literally, how they make Black Lanterns is they rip out your heart and eat it, like fucking zombies. So yeah, you could make this a hard R, like a R-rated, like, superhero horror film, if you so choose to. But as for others, like for voice cast, I think it would be cool to think it'd be cool to have, again, Nathan... I think Nathan Fillion crushes it as Hal Jordan every time. Maybe bring back Arnold Vosloo as Sinestro. I think he was really good as Sinestro. I think we can bring back Bruce... Well, the thing is that Batman doesn't play a role in here. This is right after Final Crisis, and Batman's still dead. So, or in time travel. I know it's a whole thing. But for all intents and purposes, he's dead. So maybe you could play with that. That maybe in this story, Batman has been killed, and yeah, that's when Necron does start doing his whole Blackest Night thing. The other thing that's kind of a problem with Blackest Night is that you need to do a lot of setup for it. I mean, hell, there was nothing but setup for it. Maybe in an animated film, you could say like Necron's just playing his hand, and we don't have to do the we could gloss over like, hey, there's Lantern Corps now, but they're not at war. Like, you'd skip over the War of Lights, and maybe just have that once all the Corps were born, that gave way to, like, the door opening for Necron to do what he wanted, to unleash the Black Lantern Corps, or something of that degree. I don't know. Although, there is another Green Lantern film, Green Lantern story arc I would love to see adapted just a wee bit more. And that's the Sinestro Corps War. That is, like, the pinnacle of the Jeff Johns run, in my opinion. I think Sinestro Corps War was the best Green Lantern event from the Jeff Johns era. But anyway, so there's my thoughts. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of, should Blackest Night get an animated film? Would you be for it? Would you be against it? And who would you have as the main cast? Also, I'm just going to say it, Tony Todd for Necron. Like, Tony Todd should play Necron. That would be my pick. Anyway, so yeah, once again, I'd like to thank Chris. Thank you once again, brother, for this Patreon request and continued patronage. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.